Hey everybody, I will be starting very shortly. Hey Vonda, Black Pill Paradise, this is Joe. Hey everybody, I will be starting very shortly. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Silk Speed Scratching, Thalia, what's going on here? What's crack a lacking? Okay, things are moving really good with your with the business, with the new business plans. Yeah, man, I saw those posts on Facebook, man. Congratulations to you and the partner. Hey Vonda, how you doing? Thalia? Yeah, we're gonna get into some stuff. Uh, we're gonna get into some stuff, everybody, very shortly. Decided to be on time. You know what I'm saying? If you are if you're on time, you're late, and if you're early, you're on time. So start the stream early. Just wait for everybody to pile into the chat. Hey, DJ Music, what's going on? How are you? How are you? I'm gonna do my 20-minute introduction at the most. But and then I'll open up the panel, but we're going to go through some topics, some news articles that I wanted to hit on. But if y'all look in the description right here, my allergies are acted up. If you look at the description right here, these are the news articles that I will be hitting on really quickly, so y'all can follow along. You can just click the link in the description on the video right here, and then y'all can follow along as you know, we do this thing, right? Yeah. Hey, Char, just ask Char. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for coming through. How's everybody today? How's everybody doing? Silksby Stretch, I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing pretty well. On my region in the world, there's some things they try to take care of and get popping. There's some things that try to take care of and get popping. You know what I'm saying? So forth. Uh, so that's what it really is. Yeah. If if you guys you know what I'm saying, if y'all got any questions, there will be a questions like about the topic. So try to get everything situated and going on. I wanted to play some music, but I forgot to check the copyright things on some of the music, right? Because I like to do some funny music. Yeah, I didn't. I got this. It was a little cold um, today. Well, last night, so I turned on my heater, and I have to rechange. I have to reclean the filter because it's the beginning of the spring. So I'm a little stopped up, but the show must go on. So I got my avatar up here. You know what I'm saying? People know what that means and what I'm doing. It's like that. We will do a panel session on the last quarter of this. So if people want to come up, you got to be in a particular server, or I have to send it to you personally. Um, for you to be able to come up on the panel to speak and talk. We want to be very selective. What we're doing and what we're talking about. Uh, so we don't get any chair throwing. Yeah, so we don't get any chair throwing. Yeah, Joe. If you want to come up, man, you know what I'm saying. I'll make sure you can come up and say your piece, man. I always like to hear what you have to put forth, man, so you can get another take. Because I'm down here in Kanagawa, but you're over there in Aichi. If you're still watching, please like, share, and subscribe. If not, please share this on all social media platforms. Get the word out so we can, so we can have a good time and we can talk. Uh, you know what I'm saying, about this. Uh, Also, and the links are in the description for the articles Okay, I got these. I make sure I research the news sources, Yahoo News, some reputable news sources. I try to stay what it is. That if it's satire or funny, I'll grab it from any website. I'll let you know and say this may not be true or it may be true, but I'll let you know what it is. Let's go. Yeah, so all right, so we're about to get started. Just a minute. Let me do some intro music real quick. Um, I don't know if y'all are going to like my particular style of music, but you know, I think I like my particular style of music. You know what I'm saying? So let me go ahead and pull this up so I can go over here in the chat and get it pop a locking. Hold on 1 second. I need to have this ready beforehand. Uh, sorry, guys. But how is everybody's quarantine and self quarantine and stuff like that? How is that going? Hope, hope you know. I mean, you're not getting stare crazy. You know, for a lot of us that was talking about feeling better and stuff like that. Um, I think I mean, as far as getting stuff done, as far as mental wise, you should take this time to relax because you know you're gonna have to run 100 miles an hour when this virus is over. I mean, when we get back. Hey, Callie J, salute. Hold on, let me see something. Silk speech scratching. My medical professionals been lying in their reports about me, my health, and my office visits. I had more than 10 visits in the last few days. Whoa. Wow. Can you like expound on that? That's crazy. Let me while you're expounding on that, which you mean exactly, I'm gonna play this music and welcome y'all in here. You know what I'm saying? Give you some time and I can jump down in the chat and welcome you officially. I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, rams, hogs, dogs, chicken, turkeys, you name it. All right, all right, all right. We're gonna start this show popping. We're gonna get it popping in here. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get down with it. And let's go. All right. So hope y'all enjoy that little music, little number that we had going there. You know, I'm from Baltimore. We listen to Baltimore club music. I think that's the only thing that I can actually play and get away with to a certain degree. Got to be very judicious. Don't want to get struck in by the YouTube gods. But the first order of business, we're going to talk about this report here. We're going to talk about this report that about China and what they have not been reporting, far as what's going on um, with the coronavirus with them. All right, so you guys press one in the chat if y'all can see this. I'm gonna just let me pull this down real quick so y'all can see this fully. Okay. All right, can you guys see it? Just one in the chat here. I'm flipping through screens like 100 times. Yeah. So yeah, just press one in the chat if y'all can see this. All right. So I'm gonna go over this and I'm gonna read this. Okay. So China did not report 43,000 silent carriers. A Hong Kong newspaper says China's government excluded from its statistics about 1/3 of people who tested positive for the new coronavirus but showed no symptoms. The South China Morning Post reported on Monday that classified government data obtained showed that more than 43,000 so-called silent carriers were not counted in the number of confirmed cases by the end of February. China reported around 79,000 confirmed cases as of the end of last month. The paper said that when silent carriers are taken into account, the number of affected people on the mainland exceeds 120,000. Chinese health authorities said on Friday, February the 14th, that people who were infected but showed no symptoms would be qualified and monitored for 2 weeks, but not counted as coronavirus patients. The authorities also said they would not disclose the number of silent carriers in the country. Now, this is NHK World, Japan. Right, so I'm bringing you news from almost ground zero. Because Japan and China is like a 2 to 3 hour flight, right? Korea is like 3 hours, China's 3 hours, Hong Kong is like 2.5 to 3 hours, right? Depending on which airport or which way you're coming from. So this is the news that you do not get bombarded in your local news stations or like at CNN or stuff like that, right? So this is the stuff that they're keeping out of the mix. Okay, so glad you guys can see it. Thank you, because I was reading the news article at the same time. So with this being said and the link to this article is right in the description box, so you guys can see that and see what's going on with that. So basically, there are a lot of silent carriers running around, and this is how an outbreak starts, right? We all saw that movie Outbreak, and we all know about that movie Outbreak, how it happens, right? That's usually how a massive outbreak happens. So if you got 43,000 people that are silent carriers, and we know that the incubation period can last between, they said, like between 14 to 28 days. But then the other issue is it's activated depending on the climate, right? So they said below 34 degrees, the virus dies. And then to kill it, it's above, you got to be above 153 degrees, right? Well, we know the human body, if you're above 153 degrees, you're dead, right? And if you're below 34 degrees, now are you talking, is it atmospheric or how did this works, right? And I'm not a good person to describe that, so I would have to do more research. But I'm thinking what they mean in the atmosphere or what it is. So if these people are traveling to climates that are colder, right? Maybe, maybe not. But you got to look at where a lot of people from China they travel to, right? They're traveling to parts of Asia. They're traveling to Europe. The reason why Italy's hit so bad is because, especially in Milan is the fashion place where all goods and all your clothes and everything is actually made and put together in Asia, right? So a lot of the Chinese they have manufacturing places and stuff like that. So they're traveling to Milan, right? Fashion week starts usually in the spring. They have these private fashion shows before they do the public fashion shows, and they're traveling all over the place. So if you got these 43,000 silent carriers, and this was back in February, before, like, it is mid-March, like, well, it's the end of March going into April. Man, they knew about this back in February, and they let these people go, right? So this is something that needs to be talked about. This is something that people need to circulate. And please circulate this because this news has been basically it's basically out there. Now, what I like to do on this show, I'm trying to get it, trying to work out the kinks, you guys. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bring news in such of a way where it's entertaining, but you learn something, but it's the bylines. It's the things that is not really mainstream news that's pushed in your face, but it's the real news. And people don't really understand that the real news isn't the headlines. The real news is in the bylines, things that affect you on a daily basis, things that will affect you 5 to 6 months from now, things that will affect you 2 to 3 years from now, and you don't even know it. So this is what I'm trying to do, and I'm trying to start a series called the 1/3, right? Because 1/3 of your news is actually truthful information, right? Okay, so do it says so. I'm going to move on to the next article, and then when I open up the panel, we'll go back to these portions. So I just want to do an overview of what we're going to talk about and read these articles so I can refer back to them as need be. Okay, so the next article here, right, and we're going to dive into finance, right? We're going to dive into finance. So this next article is talking about CVS, Walmart, and Amazon, right? So we're talking about CVS, Walmart, and Amazon. And this is we were having a discussion. We were having a discussion earlier before, and we was having this discussion. We were talking about how CVS, Walmart, and Amazon, or how they're trying to get people back into the workforce, and they were trying to push this automation, and it was really messing up the economy to the point where they were spending more than they were making. So they got to do a reset on how they can amalgamate the humans and the machines together in the workforce, right? Because it was being too aggressive, because the companies were seeing the financial benefits of not having human beings in the workplace. And this virus basically shows that you still need human beings as resources to work, because nothing gets done, right? Artificial intelligence, as the esteemed Cerulean Gray said, It's artificial intelligence, right? It's artificial intelligence. So before I start again, let me go down here and welcome more people. Vaughn is here. Thank you. Zero, what's up? Uh, Silky Scratcher, Black Pill Paradise is here, and DJ Music is also here, right? So let me go ahead and read this article. Let me know if you guys can see it, if there's any issues. Now, this is this is Yahoo News. This is Yahoo News, and this is the Business Insider. It's off of businessinsider.com. Linda Ramsey is the author of this. I do not claim that I wrote this or anything. I'm getting it from this source. And if you guys want to follow along, link once again is in the description. Okay. So CVS just announced plans to pay some workers bonuses up to $500 as it hires 50,000 more employees. Now, what was the issue that you had, right? Okay. Why are they hiring 50,000 more employees and offering $500 bonuses? Well, the automation does not restock the shelves. The automation does not secure the place. The automation only allows you to buy stuff out, right? And then they go to need stockers, they go to need people to do roles and come in, and people are just taking and they're not in there working. So this is a place. If you go to risk your life for $500 extra, this is a way for you to make money, right? So here we go. CVS Health is paying bonuses to hourly workers and hiring an additional 50,000 roles amid the coronavirus pandemic. The bonuses range from 150 to 500 and will be given to pharmacists, store associates, managers, and other hourly workers, the company said Monday. Part-time employees have up to 24 hours of sick leave. That's in addition to 14-day paid leave for anyone who tests positive for Corona-19 or is in quarantine after potential exposure. The additional benefits and hiring comes shortly after employees launch a petition calling for better support during the pandemic. Visit Business Insider's homepage for more stories. CVS Health is staffing up and paying out businesses as shoppers flock to its stores amid the coronavirus pandemic. The company is paying bonuses of 150 to 500 to hourly workers, including pharmacists, store associates, managers, and other hourly workers. The company said Monday. CVS says it plans to hire 50,000 workers. CVS operates more than 9,900 pharmacies around the U.S., which have found themselves on the front lines of the response to the corona pandemic on March 19th, opening up its first COVID or COVID-19 testing center in the parking lot of one of the pharmacies in Massachusetts. As they continue to be there for the individuals and the families we serve, we're taking extra steps to provide some peace of mind and health and help them navigate these uncertain times, CVS CEO Larry Merlo said in a news release Monday. Other retailers staffing up too. As Americans stock up on groceries and other essentials, Walmart said it'll pay employees a bonus up to $300 and hire on 150,000 workers. Walgreens is paying a $300 bonus to full-time hourly workers and 150 to part-time hourly employees as it hires for additional 9,500 roles. Kroger, Amazon, and other essential businesses are hiring on thousands amid the pandemic too. CVS is also providing child and elderly care benefits through Bright Horizons, the company said Monday. That gives employees up to 25 days of care in the wake of school closures that might otherwise keep employees home. Part-time employees now have up to 24 hours of sick leave, effective Monday, CVS said. That is in addition to 14 days of paid leave for anyone who tests positive for COVID-19 or is quarantined after potential exposure. The additional benefits and hiring comes shortly after employees launched a petition calling for better support during the pandemic, including sick leave, family care, crisis pay, protective gear like face masks. CVS said Monday that it has been prioritizing distributing protective gear to the hardest hit areas. CVS says it plans to fill 50,000 full-time, part-time, temporary roles immediately. That'll be for positions like delivery drivers, store associates, roles in its distribution centers, as well as customer service roles. Among those hired, the company said will be furloughed workers from hotel chains, Hilton and Marriott. Now, remember, most of these jobs, they said at the bottom, will be filled by hotel chain workers, Hilton and Marriott. So that seems interesting. Very interesting, right? See, and this is why you have to read things fully and totally to get the context. Right? So I will welcome some more people to the chat. Is it I will welcome some more people to the chat. Let's scroll it. Welcome to the chat, Jacqueline. Welcome to the show. Now, why are they doing this? Right? And why is the Hilton and the Marriott people they're going to be hired first, right? So that means out of those 50,000 jobs, there'll probably be about maybe a quarter of those left for everybody else, right? They're giving bonuses to part-time workers. This is how serious it is. People can't get their prescriptions. If they can't get their prescriptions, then Big Pharma doesn't make their money, right? People can't fill their prescriptions because people are not working, people are not coming through, and this is what's going on. Welcome, Yusuf. How are you doing? Welcome to the show. So this right here is causing a major uproar, right? So we this is something that we have to look into because now those people that are not coming to work, they're going to be replaced by people that went to work. But see, if those people that go into work that are taking these lesser paying jobs, then whatever union you had in place doesn't even help you anymore because you decided not to come to work. Chandra, what's going on? Welcome, welcome. Right? So this is something we're going to talk about in detail as we move forward in here. But I just want to highlight the different parts that we're going to talk about. We're going to hit about China. We're going to move on to this that affects people's job security, and next we're going to talk about the next thing is politics about this Florida mayor. We're going to talk about the politics and about the Florida mayor. Okay. So, like I said, once again, you can follow along. The links are in the description. Provided all links, so you can read it for yourself, share it on Facebook, talk about it, discuss it. You know, and let's talk about this, discuss this, right? All right. So I got so many tabs up at one time. Sorry, guys. Da, 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 da. Sorry. All right. Let me know if you guys can see it. If you have any issues with seeing it. If you have any issues with seeing it, let me know, guys. All right. So here we go. Coronavirus. Florida official passionately takes down mayor for failure to lead during an emergency. There's a video that goes with this. This was also on the Breakfast Club. Charlemagne the God did a donkey of the day for the mayor. But I'm just going to read it. I'm not going to play any videos because I don't understand. I don't know about the copyrights, and I don't want to get my channel striked. So I'm just going to read this. A local official in Florida has been praised after excoriating his city's leaders for what they called a failure of leadership during a global pandemic and for turning the city into a banana republic by abusing uh, procedural rules. Amari Hardy, a city commissioner in Lake Worth Beach, vented his anger at official meeting. The city commission has been locked in a bitter dispute over the handling of the coronavirus epidemic. Mr. Hardy criticized other city leaders for failing to declare a state of emergency or shutting down beaches, bars, and restaurants. The verbal altercation has been spread on social media, arose after discussion about shutting off residents' utilities where they had failed to pay their bills. The commissioner leaders say shutoffs have now been suspended, but Mr. Hardy pointed out that many people had been cut off and forced to pay to get their power back, even after workplaces had sent them home due to the epidemic. We should have been talking about this last week, he told other commissioners. We cut off people utilities this week and made them pay what could have been their last check to us to turn their lights on in a global pandemic. You're calling me disrespectful because I've interrupted people, he said, but this gentleman has turned off people's lives in the middle of a global health pandemic. Mr. Hardy continued, the city manager has had the ability to do any number of things. We could have banned large gatherings, we could have closed beaches, and we could have put a moratorium on utility shutoffs. At the point, Mayor Pam Triolo, I guess that's how you say her name, ordered a recess, which Mr. Hardy said was not within her power. Furious at what he said was her manipulation of procedure, Mr. Hardy told her, "This is a banana republic. It is what you're turning this place into with your so-called leadership." Later, Ms. Trelalo called him disrespectful. Mr. Hardy told her, "What's disrespectful is what you've done to the working people of this city." "I didn't do anything," she replied, to which Mr. Hardy responded, "You failed to act. When you're a leader, you failed to act. You, you said you didn't do anything. You failed to act when you had the opportunity." Okay, there's more of this on Facebook and so forth. Um, but this is another issue. And what we call this issue is, we'll call this issue um, in this what they call this pandemic, is people lining their pockets of things, right? People lining their pockets uh, and everything like that, and not doing what they need to do because they're lobbied, right? When you're lobbied by folks, when you're getting these campaign contributions, when they put you in these seats of power, um, you have to answer to them. If the people put you in these seats of power, then you have to answer to the people because they're your constituents, right? And what this shows, and the federal government put out something, and they said that, they put out something about you cannot shut off people's utilities in this because people can't go to work. Well, that's where you have to understand where the real power lies in the United States and in most countries. It's actually the state. So it's the state. And that's how we need to go about this, right? Now, this is the last article that I'm gonna bring up right here. Now, some of our panelists, they'll probably bring up some articles themselves, right? They'll bring up some articles themselves, and what's going to happen, and then we'll discuss those when we go to an open panel, to an open point and stuff like this. The people that have been invited on the panel, you should already have um, the link. If not, what I'll do is I'll send it to certain people that have been on panels. They know how to conduct themselves. Because I do not like having, and I will say this again, there will be no chair throwing on my panels. Absolutely, totally not. I do not um I do not do that. That is not going to happen at all. That is not going to happen. All right. So let me read this next article. And this is talking about the lockdown in London, right? And how they're charging people, they're taxing people. England's a country of taxes, has been around for centuries. So this is not nothing new. Okay, so we know this is not nothing new. I'm gonna have to clean up my tabs actually. Okay, so all right. All right. So I'm gonna pull up the chat. All right. Europe to everybody. Europe to everybody. Please like and share the stream. Thank you very much. Hit the like button as you enter. I will greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it. And after I read this, I'm gonna play some music again. That'll give people some time to the panelists that I've sent the link out to, or that have access to the link. They can come up, and that'll give people time to come in and things of that nature while you're entertained from it, and so forth. All right. So here we go. Coronavirus. Transport for London suspends congestion charge, ULES and LES. I'm sorry, man. ULEZ, sorry, and LEZ. Transport for London has suspended all road users charge for indefinite period of time as of today, 23rd March. Now, I can read, you guys, I'm just letting you know, but the problem is I have multiple different languages in my head, and mainly when I have to do something like this, I have to kind of translate it into different languages when I'm talking to different folk, when I'm doing things like this. So please bear with me. I'm trying to not get stuck on the language translation. Yeah. This The suspension applies to the congestion charge as well as the ultra low emissions zone, ULEZ, and low emissions zone, LEZ. Now, what they do in London is if you're driving into London, you have to pay a tax, a toll. But instead of it calling it a toll, they call it an emissions charge depending on your vehicle, right? So it makes you feel better that you're helping the environment, but it's still a tax or a toll. The mayor of the mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, Sadiq Khan, just to let you know, just has asked TFL to implement the suspension so that critical workers, including those working for the NHS, can get around as easily as possible during the coronavirus crisis. In a statement, TFL said to keep the public transport network running, TFL has reduced the number of stations open and are ensuring they are appropriately staffed. For some critical workers, in the current circumstances, driving to work will be the simplest option, which is why the charge has been lifted. In addition, the 24-hour access fee for Santer cycles will be waived for NHS workers who will be given a special code to access the service. Bike rides of up to 30 minutes are free of charge. Now, with this Santer cycles thing is around London to help with congestion and pollution and stuff like that. They have these free bicycles. And which you, well, not free bicycles. Well, they have these paid rental bicycles, and you put your credit card on it or a debit card, you swipe it, and you ride around, and then you drop them back off at one of those stations, and then you get the money back, right? So to help with this, they're allowing the essential workers to get around by using these bicycles without having to pay for the first 30 minutes. So probably wherever there's major stations where the essential workers at, they can turn these in, walk the rest of the way, and this is how they're alleviating problems. It's hoped that the suspension will also help keep supermarkets fully stocked. At the moment, motorists pay 11 50 £11 and 50 pence, right? So 11.50 would be equivalent to $23 basically, give or take, a day in congestion charge zone, while the ULEZ costs £12 and 50 pence a day for most vehicles. £100 for for heavier vehicles, including lorries. Now, I don't know what lorries is. They're using English terminology, like British English terminology. I know a lot of it, but I'm not really on it. But I wish Ruby was here, so she'll probably tell us. But and LEZ costs of £100 or £200, depending on the size of your vehicle. That's a lot of money. That's like almost $200 to $400. The mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, said people should not be traveling by any means unless they really have to. London roads should now only be used for essential journeys to help our critical workers get to work and for essential deliveries to take place. I have instructed TFL to temporarily suspend the congestion charge, ULEZ, the low emission zone, for Monday. This is not an invitation to take your cars. To save lives, we need the roads clear for ambulances, doctors, nurses, and other critical workers. This is an unprecedented time, and I know Londoners are doing everything they can to look after each other. I continue to urge all Londoners to follow the advice of public health authorities and not leave their homes unless absolutely essential. The suspension comes as the government advised the nation to avoid non-essential international travel amid the coronavirus pandemic. The UK currently has 5,018 confirmed cases, according to the World Health Administration's latest report dated March 22nd. The advice has since been upgraded to include non-essential domestic travel as well. All right. So, okay, crew. Thank you, crew. I'm sorry. I wasn't looking at the chat while I was reading. Thank you, crew. Um, typing something here. Yeah. So, and crew's gonna put that up. A lorry is a tractor trailer generally in London. Thank you, crew. See, we got smart. See, I got smart people in my midst. Thank you, crew, for that. Okay. So, yeah, 18 is a 16-wheel truck. So that's like 100 pounds, 200 pounds per day just to deliver in London. Cost of goods and services, right? Congestion charge, right? All right. So these are the things that we're going to discuss. We're going to go down the list, and then we're going to have some things on the open panel that other people want to bring forth and talk about. Let me check the time right now. We started a little bit early. We got this popping, so we will start in a couple of more minutes. Grab yourself something to drink. Get your questions ready if you can. Just to interact with the chat. For those of you that would like to come on, come up on the panel and join us. For those of you that would like to come on the panel and join us, if you're not busy or anything like that, feel free to join us. Feel free to join us, and we will love to have you up here. If you want to come on and speak, talk about it. If you're in the chat, and I'll do like an open guest one, and someone would like to just jump up and come on. But I'm gonna play this music real quick to give us some time for people to come on. Let me find something that I'll play here. All right. My baby, okay? Oh my God, don't take my baby, okay? I've been away from my baby for 2 months. I just want my baby. 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 I just want my I just want my baby. I just want my baby. I just want my baby. What more do you want from me? I just want to What more do you want from me? I just want to This is all I got. This is all I got. Don't take my baby, okay? Baby, 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 baby. Oh my God, baby, 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 baby. Don't cry.
something illegal by doing this video, or is this, am I protected by the First Right Amendment?
Oh, thank you for calling. I'm sorry, but the person you're trying to reach, person you're trying to reach, person you're trying to reach, person, but the person you're trying to reach, trying to reach, trying to reach, trying to reach is a voicemail box that happens. Voicemail box that happens. Set up. Voicemail box that happens. First, happens set up. 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 But the person you're trying to reach is a voicemail box that happens. The person you're trying to reach is a voicemail box that happens. The person you're trying to reach is a voicemail box that happens. Set up. The person you're trying to reach is a voicemail box that happens. Set up. Thank you for calling. I'm calling. I'm sorry. The person you're trying to reach is a voicemail box that happens. Set up. Happens. Set up. 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 Happens. Trying to reach is a voicemail box that happens. Set up. Trying to reach is a voicemail box that happens. Set up. Thank you for calling. 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 I'm sorry. Oh. For English, please press 1. Para español, marque 2. Marque 2. Marque 2. Marque 2. Marque 2. Marque. Please press 1. Up. Trying to press 1. Up. Marque for calling. Marque for calling.
All right. Excuse me. We are back. We are back. What's going on, Charger? What is going on?
Hey, good afternoon. Good evening to everybody out there. Hey, you brought up some very interesting points regarding the COVID that nobody's talking about. Nobody's talking about the fact that China had 45,000 cases. We're talking about a virus that spreads so readily. 45,000 cases, and they just let these people walk around to spread it. They knew these people had it. They didn't quarantine them. They just let them walk around.
Yeah.
So what does that say? Does that say that China was not as fast as they wanted to be, or did they purposely let these people walk around to increase the spread of the virus to cripple other nations economically?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like they knew that this was happening. But those people, they had to get that money. They had to make that money, right?
Yeah. But, even if they're asymptomatic, if they tested positive, they should have been immediately quarantined, set aside, said, hey, you're going to be here for 14 to 28 days, however long it takes for you to not show any symptoms. But instead, what they did was they allowed them to spread it, which also furthers the case that China knowingly allowed it to become a pandemic.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying is should I say it like this? They tested him, like you said, they let him go. This was back in February. This was back in February. And if I go back and I go check the article here, right? I go back and check the article here. These numbers were confirmed in February. What was it? Yeah, February. Yeah, these numbers were confirmed February the 14th. Chinese health authorities said that February the 14th, that people who were infected but showed no signs of symptoms would be quarantined and monitored for 2 weeks, but not counted as coronavirus patients.
Okay, so they weren't counted as patients, but they were quarantined?
Yes.
Okay, so they were quarantined, but so okay, this is a case of misinformation then. So they were quarantined, but China decided that they weren't going to tell people the total amount. Okay,
Yeah.
so it wasn't like they
So
were letting them run around.
well, here's the thing, right? They had it, right? But they didn't show any symptoms of it, but they quarantined them and then they let them go. So what is the incubation period for the coronavirus?
Anywhere from 14 to 28 days, depending on several factors, including personal immunity.
So if these people come from a place where it's polluted and they're living, they got a higher immune system, right?
Most likely.
Most likely. So if they go from 14 days and they don't show any signs and symptoms and they let them go, then they still got another 14
14
days.
days.
So
to be contagious and spread it.
And then they didn't say that they were coronavirus or they had it and they got over it. They didn't report it. So what did they do?
What they did was they probably spread it. They probably spread it.
There you go. There it is. And there you have it.
But this goes to show how when dealing with nations, you can't take like one of the things that China did during the initial spread of the coronavirus was they kept things heavily under wraps. They told the World Health Organization that the death rate was only 2%, when in certain cases the death rate has shown to be up to 4 to 8% of the population that actually gets it. And 4% may not seem like a lot, but in a place like China, 4% of 1.3 billion will give you 52 million people that die.
Exactly.
Just for the record, the total population in the U.S. is around 400 million. So we lose 52 million. That's an eighth of our population in one go.
Ooh. And then, so do you think now this is where I say tinfoil hat dog Calypso always checks me, right? It says it says the aluminum hat, right? You know what I'm saying? The aluminum hat. And the aluminum foil, I guess the aluminum foil hat. But the biggest thing is, did they intentionally set these people off knowing what they were going to do and it was going to happen? They knew they was going to pass the checkpoints, right? They knew this was going to happen at one point in time. Before we continue, we'd like to welcome to the panel Black Pill Paradise.
Hey.
Welcome to the. Hey, what's going on?
What's going on?
What's cracking lagging?
Nothing much. Want to talk about this topic?
Oh yeah. So, what do you have to add to this topic with the Chinese folk and these 43,000 people they didn't account for, knowing that they had it?
I can't hear you.
Oh, can y'all hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. What do y'all have to account for with these Chinese people, the Chinese government allowing these 43,000 folk to still come and do whatever they were doing?
What I think about it, honestly, I think this was all in plan to begin with. That's why I think that they're allowing it, because like you said, why would you? You got to kind of think a little bit deeper. I honestly think that they're pushing this virus thing because they want to go paperless and they want to use the chip. It's called an RFID chip, radio frequency chip, and you can actually Google it. I could pull up my split screen, but kind of my arms is tied right now. but
Okay.
it's basically the chip is the radio frequency intelligence chip, and it's going to have all of our info on it, from how we get paid for work, our social security numbers, driver's license, everything is going to be on that chip. And that's what I think it's about. That's why I think they're still allowing it. Because, like you said, why would they? You know what I mean? And
Right.
now they have the National Guard in California. They have the National Guard in New York. They're going to soon have them in Michigan, because today I've been watching the news like every day, and they've been saying that that they're thinking about bringing them here. So if this is just all a plan. They planned this, and just I think they just spurned it on everybody at the last minute, and you know, it's just one in my. I'm a huge conspiracy theorist, so like I think it's just one big setup. That's what I think about it. As far as the chip is concerned, I think that it's connected to G5 cell towers, and so when I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, let me go out and buy guns," I think that's a waste of your time, because you don't they don't need to use take your gun rights away, when all they have to do is implant a chip in you and then use the G5 cell towers to control you, make you fall out, make you sick, make you do whatever, because that's pretty much what it's connected to. Um,
Yeah.
so if you do a little bit more research on it, you'll see what I'm talking about. But yeah, that chip is connected to those that G5 technology that they're putting out, and they're going to be able to control people with that. So they really don't have to take your gun rights away, when they can just click one button and make you pass out, or make you snap on somebody, or whatever the case may be. I'm a
Yeah.
huge conspiracy theorist, so I really think that some of these people that's getting sick, like I feel like they signed some type of non-disclosure. Like they took the money, signed a non-disclosure, and the people were like, "Well, if you get sick, it's not on us," so they can't really say anything, and they're getting sick and falling out from the chip and the G5 technology. That's what I think, but I have to dig a little bit deeper just to prove my just to prove my theory. But yeah, that's what I think.
Okay. If you got the link to
Yeah, I
that
could place it
article,
in the chat.
yeah, 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 just drop it in the chat, and we'll pull it up on screen. Let me go around a round table. Let me talk Silk Speed Scratching here. Silk Speed
Okay.
Scratching, how are you doing? Welcome to the panel here, and drop that link in there so I can pull it up also. Um,
Okay.
how
Hello,
you doing?
hello, Andre. I know you as Black in Japan.
Hey,
How
how you
you?
doing?
How's everybody on the panel? I feel like every day I wake up, I'm doing fine.
Yeah.
I've been going to the doctor since and having telephone visits since March 2nd, and I
Mhm.
just can't believe the stuff that's going on, and I'm getting worse each day as the day goes by. I'm gonna go. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I know I'm gonna drink a whole lot of water and see if that helps. Right now, I'm not taking any of their pharmaceuticals. I don't care what nobody says. I
Right.
just rather do it with heal myself with water and food and exercise.
Yeah. Okay. Did the doctor say anything when you went in? Because I remember you made a comment earlier. They were lying about your visits. They weren't being forthright about a lot of stuff.
Well, I just found that out today because I was gonna write the doctor an email because I'm not understanding all this what's happening because I'm supposed to be in one of those high compromising ranges anyway because of
Right.
my health condition, some things I've been dealing with for years now. And one of them really got out of control in the last maybe about 5 years. It's been out of control. So I've been dealing with that. And I can't understand that. And I'm coming up with new symptoms by the medical professional. each day. And this is not what I'm coming in or calling the doctor's office for. So I'm not even understanding what's going on with all this. And then the doctor called me today, like with a smile on the phone, talking about he got good news and he's taking me off work for 14 days because my job is not, first of all, I'm in one of those disasters positions that I have to go to work regardless of what. And I didn't know I was a disaster employee. I didn't know that was in my job description. And what he told me, he was saying, like, he's taking me off for the next 14 days with this smile, like, and it's good news. And I said, well, the issue is not me being off work. My issue is my health. What you gonna do about my symptoms I'm complaining about? So, but I didn't mean to get off the subject.
No. You're fine. No,
As
no, you're
far as
fine.
the article where, what was that, you was reading, the 43,000 cases in China, that there are
Yeah.
cases here in America. They're not disclosing the paper. They're not trying to get people tested. If they don't test you and if you survive through it, then it won't look off. But they need to be testing more people. Like I told them about me, just test me. If I'm negative, then we can move on from this and we could go somewhere else and just deal with my symptoms that I'm having. Let's rule that out. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna be getting tested in the next few days or what, because those medical professionals have to decide. But in the meantime, I'm trying to do what I have to do to make myself more healthier. So I'm
Yeah.
doing, I'm staying away from people trying to, and I don't want to go back to the emergency room, because what I went in there for, I was transported to the emergency room from my doctor's
Mm.
office because my blood pressure had gone like 218 over 100,
Whoa.
and I don't have blood pressure issues. And so, but when I got to the emergency room and my blood pressure started going down like to normal levels, they didn't
Right.
even address the blood pressure. Um, they diagnosed me with a cough, and also they wrote and said, on the paper when they released me, they said the examination and the treatment you have received today has been on an emergency basis only and not has been intended to be a substitute to complete medical care, since it is impossible to recognize and treat all the elements of your injury or illness to a single visit. For your protection and preventing possible complications, if you're not clearly improving in the next 12 hours, you should be seen or rechecked at this emergency room at your own doctor's immediately. Now, I'm not going back to that hospital emergency room because the treatment was so horrible there. And we
Right.
just had a known death from coronavirus in the hospital was announced today. Um,
Oh.
it's going to hit the news pretty soon. It hasn't hit at all, and it was a 17-year-old that passed away.
Wow.
Yeah. I heard about that. Yeah, I heard that was the first youngest person to die in the U.S. with the coronavirus.
Right. It
Yeah, I
was
heard
in
about. Yeah, I was
our
reading it.
local hospital, one I was just in on Friday. When they kicked me, after they released me, I say kick me out, and how the treatment on trying to get home, because I didn't have my vehicle, because remember I told you I was transported and they
Yeah.
wouldn't let my daughters bring me back my keys. And I thought I was going to be released, and my daughters live far from me, so they just went on home. So I had somebody that lives near me come pick me up, and they made me sit outside in the cold, waiting for my ride. They didn't wheelchair me out there. Then when I started complaining about that, the lady was on the phone talking. I heard her talking about me, the head nurse, and
Yeah.
them. And then when she came out, she copped the attitude, started going off of me. I said, "What's wrong with you? I'm a sick patient." Because I wasn't hearing what she was trying to tell me. Then when she turned away and walked away, I said, "No, that's all right. I'll sit out here and wait for my ride." Because they wouldn't let me sit up in the front, and where the emergency room, this hospital that I just said where that boy died, and I could believe he died there because they wasn't treating him right. That the part of the emergency room where they consider you not non-critical, that's where I was. That's in the front of the hospital. That's where I have communicated to my ride to tell them to to come to. And so I'm saying, why, if I was just in the hospital, why couldn't I wait in the front? And they wanted me to walk all the way back to the emergency room. They didn't want to wheel me back there. I said, no, I don't feel good. I'm not doing all that. So when she was walking away and got mad at me, she started
Mhm.
laughing. And I got to asking her, what's so funny? You think this is funny?
Yeah.
People are sick and dying from this stuff, wherever it came from.
You're definitely seeing the symptoms of an overworked medical system right now. Our medical system isn't meant to handle this many cases of anything at one time, and as a
Mhm.
result, you have medical professionals that are giving subpar care in an attempt to keep themselves safe, or even worse, in an attempt to mitigate the. Oh, you don't have coronavirus? Okay, well, we'll rush you through and get you out of here because we have to make room for the people who have coronavirus and are about to die from this, while not giving you the level of care you deserve.
But my issue is they don't know if I have it or not.
And that's also a
Because
problem.
they want to try to say that you have to have these certain symptoms. And I was doing some research, and where China did back in January, China did a little small like study on 99 people when this first started bringing out. I think it happened on sometime in January where they made the little like study. Well, all the symptoms are not the same in everybody. And some people have fever, some people have cough, some people have upper respiratory infections. One lady had a yeast infection. That was the only symptom that she can had, and it came through the coronavirus. And out of these 99 people, 11 of these people died, and the rest of them, they sent home. And they said some of them are still in the hospital today being treated. And so that's over what, 14? If that was at the end of January, sometimes in January, that's over what, the 14 or 28-day critical period. I don't think they're telling us all the truth.
No, they're not. And what they won't, they're not going to in any stretch of the imagination. They're not going to in any stretch of the imagination. Um, due to the fact of that, if you tell people the truth, too much of the truth, they won't be able to handle it. Like on that movie, A Few Good Men, it'll be massive panic and stuff like that. Um, it'll be massive panic and stuff like that. But yeah, it'll be something crazy like that. So they can't really tell everybody the truth. I'm gonna go over this with Black Pill Paradise brought up, so we can kind of move to the next article that I brought up, so we can start talking about that. We can get people to interject and have comments and stuff like that and start talking. So let me go here to this. This is from the Atlantic, and this was an article that was written about going on almost 2 years, September 21st, 2018. And I remember there was a guy, he embedded a chip in his hand. Um, some engineer underneath his skin, just to see how it would work. Patrick McMullen first heard in 2017 that thousands of Swedish citizens were unlocking their car doors and turning on their coffee machines with a wave of their palm. He wasn't too impressed, sure the technology, a millimeters long microchip equipped with a near field communication capabilities and large just under the skin, had a niche cutting edge appeal, but in practical terms, a fob or passcode would work just as well. McMullen, a 20-year-old veteran of the tech industry, wanted to do better to find use for the implantable microchips that are genuinely functional, not just abstractly nifty. In July 2017, news cameras watched as more than 50 employees of the Three Square Market, the vending solutions company where McMillan is the president, voluntarily received chip implants of their own rather than a simple scan to functions process like the Swedish chips use. The chips and the readers around Three Square Market River Falls, Wisconsin office were all part of the multi-stage feedback network. For, for example, your chip could grant you access to your computer, but only if you had already unlocked the front door for you that day. Now, McMillan says the last summer I've actually done something that enhances our network security. Okay. So this article is pretty long, but it's a long read, but it's actually very informative. Um, Now, and I'm gonna ask Charger's opinion. I'm gonna ask Silk B Scratch's opinion on this. Uh, Charger, remember Metal Gear, and they
Yes.
had the that
The
virus
the Foxdie virus nanotechnology installed in soldiers.
in soldiers, right? And with nanotechnology, right, the RF chip, right? If let's just say you get it down, you get this RF chip down to a nano machine level where you injected a nano machine into a person and they have a quote unquote vaccine, right?
Yes.
Right? They have a vaccine. Hold on, let me get my battery ready. Let me get my battery ready, y'all. Right? Since somebody started this, it's 10 full hat time, right? Right? So the nano machines can up your immune system, right? Attack these viruses, repair things, and we see this in movies where they put you in this solution, or the nano machines work, or the like the Terminator, right? The evil
Yeah.
T-1000 with the liquid metal, like you couldn't hurt him, he just keeps going. But he was a computer, he was programmed, right? So what if the next batch of automation is actually the amalgamation of implanting robotics inside the human body, right? And let's just say, for hypothetical with the tinfoil hat, so it's conspiracy theorist time, right? Rabbit hole jumping, right? That they use
Yeah.
vaccine as a mask to inject you with these said machines that what Black Pill Paradise was talking about is controlling you through RF technology.
It's a possibility. Of course, the quickest way to control people is by incentivization. If you make it such that most people have to use the RFID chip, like, the biblical people talk about the mark of the beast, but what she's talking about is where they use it for financial control, meaning that your social security number, all your financial information is tied to these chips, right? Well, if you
Right.
can't buy or sell immediately, just like in this coronavirus, if you can't buy toilet paper, or you can't buy this, you can't buy that, immediately you become someone who's a lot easier to control. It doesn't matter how much money you have if you can't buy guns, because your chip is flagged for someone who's not able to buy guns, right?
Right. Right.
So what I view it as a means of control in that way. I don't know if this will be the implementation of the RFID chip this time. This looks more like a dry run for the next panic, right? In my
Yeah, I was thinking
opinion.
that. I was thinking that
But
too.
this is also a calcification of wealth deal as well. So if you look at, I'm going to drop an article later on in which you have certain senators went ahead and sold their stock while telling everybody, "Oh, everything's going to be fine. We're going to be fine with this coronavirus." But they sold their stock and made a killing, while the stock market was at all-time highs, 30,000 in the Dow.
Well, you know what? Go ahead and drop that link right now. I'm gonna have to update my because I was going to talk about that next week, but we can do it right now because I'm breaking this down in that's about the Chinese thing was the worldview, like the with it, ground zero where it originated from. Um, the where the first major outbreak was or wherever it originated from, right? And this is I'm going into the financial section, like after we finish these statements, so Silk B Scratch can get her her sits in there and put it in there. Um, with the CVS thing, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead, drop that in there so we can put that together because that Marriott thing wasn't sitting well with me at the end. You know what I mean? So
Well, it's a way to continue to. The Marriott thing there at the end was a way to keep the money within the company. Okay, the government's going to give us a bailout package, and we need certain customer service type people to continue working. But let's reallocate these people. We don't need as many people in the hotel industry right now. We need these people over here in this other business that is actually going to be making the money off of this crisis, right? For example, the pharmacy. So
right.
I mean, we're going to reallocate these people. We're going to give them a $500 bonus and ask them to risk their lives.
Ooh.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy at the same time, right?
It's
Right.
crazy. It's definitely crazy, insane. Oh, where did he go? I know I'm having problems too. We're having problems like dropping off or weird things happening too when we come on these panels. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Because sometimes you can't hear people. Did he drop off on an accident?
Yeah, yeah. I think but he's in the area where he's having a weird he
So,
has weird issues.
uh,
Yeah, yeah,
but I right now I'm not gonna say if we don't know if they injected in something in us already.
yeah.
How would you know?
Huh? You probably I'm like I was in the military, so I didn't get the flu really bad until like about 4 years ago. But
Hmm.
the whole time I was in the military, I got allergies, so I got allergies to dust and certain pollen. But that's the worst thing that I would get. Like, we would get shots for everything. Like, it was just, going to different countries, we'd get shot up with stuff so bad.
Right.
It was ridiculous. So, most people in the military, other than like physically, like, their backs or their knees or mental with the PTSD thing, their health doesn't really fail them really until they get to their latter years. If you notice, a lot of military people live a long time if they take care of themselves once they get out because you're government property. They need you to work.
Well, I'm glad you're talking about this because I've been kind of concerned of my niece that's she married her husband is in the military and they're over in Italy right now.
Yeah,
And we finally I was finally able to communicate, even though she communicate with her family all the time. But I'm an aunt and we just it's not that we distance, it's just that as you go older, you don't communicate with your family unless you have a big family gathering like you used to. But I did reach out to her, she did respond, and they're okay. So they are okay if they're on a military base and if they quarantine and stay in there while the possibilities are stronger for them in Italy if they're in that environment. I can
yeah,
say we don't know, but because you just made a point that the military people tend to stay healthier longer or stay
yeah.
healthy. So I know they have been inoculated in so many ways, even before they went over to Italy.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah. They've been inoculated in so many ways. Plus, military people know that those little masks are not going to help.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, those little bit. Matter of fact, we have the esteemed brother Cerulean Gray, and he could basically drop knowledge on those masks. He was sharing some proper masks if you're going to buy those on Amazon, yeah. Brother Cerulean.
Oh well, greetings, esteemed DeAndre, esteemed Shadow Cursor, and I don't know who the.
Uh,
Uh,
Silks be scratching.
oh well, greetings. Um,
Greetings. And you can
so
call me Sylvia. That's my name.
okay, yeah. So if well, right now, as you know, Amazon has a bit of a shipping setback. Your deliveries can be delayed between 3 days and as far out as a week. But if you're going to order those masks, it's the N95. The problem I have with N95s is that yes, they cover your mouth, but they don't cover your eyes. They don't cover your nostrils. Oh wait, they cover your nostrils, but not while your face is in it, because you're just breathing in what you've already breathed out. Um, any other mask other than the N95, as far as something that you just walk around with, is not going to do because it's to protect you from infecting anybody else. So if you already have it, that N95 mask is great. If you don't have it, anything but an N95 or hell, the M88, which is remember the old military issue gas masks? Well, those are in surplus. You can find those on eBay for between $39 and $79, depending on who's shipping
Yeah.
it. So,
I wanted to ask you, you named the eyes, you named the nose, the mouth. What about the ears?
well, as far as the ears go, um, if there was some kind of moisture, it would have to get past all of the would have to get past that the protective layer of wax that's inside of your ears.
Okay.
Your ears are probably the safest. Just short of your actual skin, uh,
Oh, okay.
ears are pretty much safe because it's not going to
Uh,
penetrate the protective
What if
layer of wax that's in your ear.
what if you get an infection where your ears get affected from the inside?
Well, that the only way that can happen is if you're a person that puts say alcohol on a Q-tip and constantly cleaning your ears out,
No, I'm
which
not talking about coming from that way, but you know how sometimes your ear could get infected if you have an upper respiratory. You like if you got a your throat sore, because isn't the ears, nose, and throat connected?
yeah.
And yeah, and
Yeah.
if you get that infection, wouldn't your ears get infected too? Now I know I
so
was talking. I'm going two ways. I'm sorry. I
so
apologize.
so the way that your ears would get infected from the inside is through your mouth and through your nose. But if you're
Okay.
wearing an N95, that's not going to happen. The only
Okay.
way that you're susceptible is through the ear from the outside. And if somebody sneezes on you, I can guarantee you, if if you're not one of those people that takes a Q-tip and puts it in alcohol and is cleaning out your ear every day, you're gonna have that protective layer of wax that protects your inner ear.
Okay.
Yeah. And what's on
Thank you.
screen right now is what the Steve Brother Cerulean is talking about that I have highlighted. This is the mock up. This is probably not as legit, but this is more stylized. But yeah, this is what you're talking about? This really,
Yeah, even though that one particularly will not protect you from anything, because
yeah, yeah,
that's it's like for
stylized.
airsoft. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's airsoft, but it looks like this if you try to find something, the old school would and what.
yeah. As a matter of fact, I'll just say this: Bud K will probably owe me a check, but you could go to budk.com
Okay,
and order actual either M88s or they're the generic surplus brand gas masks for fairly
yeah,
cheap. I think they're on there for like $39. If you really like trying to prepare for like a zombie apocalypse, which I highly doubt is going to happen.
you said Bud K.
Yep, budk .com.
So I did notice when I was in the hospital the other day, there were a lot of people that had shears. The workers, they had shields over their eyes, along with the mask. Do you think that's will protect them?
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Like you see that
And
one right
also,
there. That's an actual gas mask. That's an MP5. I think from Poland. That one will protect you. If you notice, the ears aren't covered because the ears have that protective layer on the
okay.
inside.
Yeah.
But they
But
didn't have
usually,
nothing like that on.
yeah. But usually you're wearing a hood, right? You're also wearing
Mhm.
a hood, a CBR cover over the masks too. So your hair is tucked in and all of that. Yeah. So yeah, you don't just
I
wear a
did
gas
see a
mask by itself.
hood. I did see
Huh?
a hood.
Yeah.
But if you really want a really good one, you get the full face one that does this one that anybody can use. It doesn't require you to shave or any of that. Uh,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
want to ask. Your name is Cerulean Gray. I want to ask you a question. What I heard, what a firefighter said
mhm.
when they was transporting me to the hospital the other day. He said he made a comment that I don't know if he was talking about the workers out there team or everybody in general. He didn't say specifically, but he said that we're all going to get the coronavirus anyway. What do you feel about that?
What I'll say is this: is that and I don't want to create any kind of panic, but most people already have it. Like
Uh,
you've already, it's in your fecal matter. I mean, it's all over the place. Like the coronavirus thing, it's not really a virus.
mhm.
Okay, it's something that it's already been pervasive um, in nature for a long time.
yeah.
As a matter of fact, a couple of weeks ago, or was it a couple of weeks ago? Maybe been last week. They discovered that it was something that uh, humanity had already fought before, and there are certain people. That's how they know that there's a certain age where people are susceptible to it. Um, and how they know that the younger you are, the more vibrant your immune system is to fend it off. If you've already like so for instance, if you already had the flu, you've probably already got some kind of strand of it. If you've had a vaccination within the last 5 years, you've got some form of it because it's a at the end of the day, it's a flu.
And it doesn't matter what type of vaccination, right? If you got a pneumonia vaccination.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So thank you, Sylvia. Thank you for coming through. I gotta rotate some people in and through. Thank you for coming through. And I'll do these once a week. So I'll send the email out to you and stuff like that. But thank you for coming through.
And
And I hope you get better. Please keep us updated. We hope that what I'm saying nothing's too terminal with yourself, and I hope they get this stuff together with this virus, and so you don't have to go through that. Hospitals already got bad customer service as it is, but especially if they're overstaffed and people don't want to come into work. You know.
right. Well, thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure that you allowed me to share at this time, and I did get some great information while I was
Yeah.
here. I want everybody to be safe out there.
Yes, you too. Hey, brother, music.
Oh,
Good
greetings,
evening, folks.
esteemed,
How you doing? How you doing?
How you
How you
greetings,
doing?
doing?
esteemed
Good to see
brethren.
everybody. Oh man, I'm
Good.
living every day above ground is a good one, fellas.
How are you? How are you? The esteemed elder is here.
Picture that. But yeah, man, I was listening to the young lady speak earlier, and man, I said, really, you gave the lady some great advice. There's some things, like the ears and different things like that. You really don't hear too many people catch a diseases through their ears. But like the eyes and most places where there's some kind of wetness or some kind of mucus or some kind of secretions where viruses can mutate and and grow and fester. That's usually where we get it from. So
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that. Oh, go ahead, sir.
Oh no, good. No, I was just agreeing.
Now, so really, remember we were talking about that thing, right?
Yep.
We were there. We were talking about how you make people take less wages, right? Um, to jump back into stuff and to to do that. Um, Now the CVS thing, right? And Chandra also brought up the house, how they the stocks made a whole bunch of money and stuff like that. But the CVS, what they are announcing to hire 50,000 workers, give up the bonuses of $500, but it's really only for the Marriott, the Hilton um, employees. They get
Uh,
first dibs.
yeah. If you remember, the government shutdown, right? Um,
Right.
I forget how many employees. It was like over 1.5 million, I think, that were furloughed, and nearly
hmm
150,000 were still unemployed beyond the 30-day shutdown.
Yep.
Um, and you have to think, how do you furlough non-federal employees?
Yeah. How?
you pretty much can't. You can't, can you?
Well, you can use, say, a certain catastrophe to initiate one that would force, say, non-federal employees um, away from their jobs. And not
Yeah.
only that, but give these major corporations their big welfare package. Um, put a pilot program to UBI on the table, such as $1,000. I mean, we did the numbers on this last night. If every American received $1,000, that was about 2.5% of America's total GDP.
Yeah.
2.5%.
Crazy.
Well, listen, just take this back just a little bit to show you how much money America can waste. Sometime you remember, what's the guy, Michael Bloomberg, the guy that just ran for was about to run for president, whatever. What's his name? Bloomberg.
Yes.
Think how much he threw away, how much money in ads. It said that he spent enough money in ads to where he could give every person in the United States $1,000 and still have plenty of money.
Well, $1,000 to every American ends up being $400 billion,
Yes. So think
and
how
it
much money this one particular person has.
well, it shows you how long that he's been robbing America, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And that pulls it exactly to the circle that I was thinking about. This coronavirus. Yes, it is a pandemic, folks, and yes, there are people dying from it, but it's all by design. It really is. I mean, yeah, there's some people that's gonna get sick, but the country itself, and if you look at the circumference of China, think about it. They're bursting at the seams with over 1.66 something billion people. Where they all gonna go? China has closed walls. Where they gonna put them at?
Well, it looks like Africa's is on their immediate horizon,
Uh-huh.
um,
Exactly.
and not
So
only that,
I
with the Belt and Road program, um, Belt and Road is just another. It's just a fancy phrase that they use for building out empire, which is what America did in the late 1800s to the all the way up to the mid 1900s. Belt and Road is basically that program. Um, the problem with that is that the more empires grow, the more expansive they become, um, the more poor that you create. You're creating poverty basically everywhere you go. Um, and then the chasm between the rich and the poor basically gets wider. And then what ends up happening is you have an aging population. Your working age population suffers as a result of building out empire. And then you look at China. What are their major problems? They have high density cities, overpopulation, and as a result, this always leads to things like sickness, uh, disease, pestilence, and then they have that aging population. As a matter of fact, most of the world has a similar problem where they have a problem replacing the working age population. A lot of the wealth is, for instance, in America, a lot of the wealth that is in this country is in the hands of the boomer generation, especially the older to mid boomer generation. Matter of fact, you look at America's billionaires per se. All just about all of them are boomers. Very few of them are new money. You see,
And you would really have to look at the sports stars to start finding new money. Folks like
Yeah.
Michael Jordan and those, who've been around the NBA for a while, but even in your own cities and towns that you can ride through certain neighborhoods and, just in the conversation that you have with a person, well, this is where the new money at in this town. Well, let me take you to where the old money is at. And you definitely can see the difference of who has what.
and it's the old money that is doing all of the manipulation. As
Hmm.
a matter of fact, we did an exercise about a week ago. We were looking for companies to invest in who may survive, uh, and never in a million years would I have thought to invest in toilet paper. Yeah,
People
but it
got to
looks like
wait.
Yeah.
it, yeah, but it looks like it was a mistake to do so. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Because now you look at toilet paper. The toilet paper is on back order. I was just doing an experiment. I was looking on Amazon, found all of the toilet paper basically out of stock, except with the exception of a few. And the few that were not out of stock, they were foreign. They were foreign manufactured brands, right? Um,
Hmm.
and even the shipping on those was out to May, right? When I looked at eBay, yeah, people actually auctioning. I ain't auctioning
Toilet
like a
paper.
toilet paper, like a vehicle.
Wow.
What was that
Wonderful.
clip that I put in there? It was is a guy trying to sell toilet paper is $112 for a 30 roll thing of Charmin for like $112, and they're still taking bids on it. There's 30 bids on it.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And it would normally cost in the store what 15,
Well,
16 bucks, 20
well,
bucks tops.
that particular one, the 30 roll one by Charmin, that particular one, if you look at the manufacturer, is 26.50 is what it costs,
Yeah.
or what it would have cost.
Yeah. Um, and what's really like, people were laughing, right? Because I posted this up on YouTube like weeks ago, like around like the end of February, and I was joking. I posted this up on Facebook, and I said I'm selling toilet paper for $30 a roll, right? And people were laughing because in Japan there was a guy that brought up a whole bunch of toilet paper, and he was selling it for $50 a roll, 5,000 yen, basically, right? And he was selling it. People was buying it because all the toilet paper was gone. All of the tissues was gone. The baby wipes, the dog toilets for the pets, the pee, all it was gone, gone. Like, and then they put out a little sign that said you can only take one roll or two items per person, and and Japanese follow what you tell them, right? So, but that was the thing. People were laughing. The base over here, people were tripping. And that's just the stupid stuff that people do in a time of crisis, right? I'm not understanding about the toilet paper thing, but I do understand um, because if you got a house full of women, women use more toilet paper than men. Because of them using the bathroom, we don't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? So I get it, but I think toilet paper will be your last thing because I do notice something, right? Right? I do notice one thing. I remember back in the day, right, when there used to be a crisis or a storm coming, all the fresh fruits and vegetables and all of that stuff would be gone, right? You go into the supermarket, all the fresh fruits and vegetables are there, but all the instant food, like the frozen entrees and all of that is gone. That means this generation can't cook for nothing.
Huh, nothing. What they gonna do when the power goes out?
Hey, hey,
But you're gonna cook then. How long those frozen foods gonna last?
exactly, right? Exactly. Like, I wanted to touch on this thing that Chandra brought up. He brought up this link, and he posted it in the chat. I'll repost it later. House members Senate aides trade stocks in early days of coronavirus. Right. While Senators Richard Burr, RNC, Republican from North Carolina, and Kelly Loeffler, Republican from Georgia, sought on Friday to explain sales of stocks made at the time when they were reassuring the public about coronavirus threat. They weren't the only elected officials to buy and sell stocks at key moments in the unfolding crisis, unfolding crisis. A political review of stock sales and purchases reported by the members of Congress and Senate and senior aides found that while none had engaged in the sales of the multitude of Burr and Loeffler, sorry, several had trade shares at times or in industries that bore relationship to the coronavirus threat. And I'm gonna stop right there. Y'all can read this for yourself, but I'm gonna say this right here, right? Right. Politicians aren't that smart to buy and sell their stock. That's what you have. That's what you have investment firms for. They do this, right?
Oh
They
yeah,
do this. Like they,
yeah.
they, they
Well. In my see, if America wasn't already asleep at the wheel,
yep,
right? Like if this was China, right? The country that they always say, oh, communist China is so bad. But in China, this would not fly. If we weren't asleep at the wheel, they'd all be indicted for insider trading.
yep, yep, yep,
Exactly.
yep.
And the thing about this, the woman that's in question, the Republican senator, the woman, she's married to the chairman of the New York Stock Exchange. So
How
imagine that.
well if you
Which
think about it,
represents a huge conflict of interest.
there you go.
Huge conflict of interest.
But
Huge.
but
Absolutely.
but then like the president, he wouldn't be able to be president, right?
Well, I mean, think about this, DeAndre. If you look at the whole scenario that's been going on really since 2019, you look at the time that they started talking about impeaching Donald Trump, and how many Republicans and how much of the Fox News was putting out this narrative that Trump was never going to be impeached. And we all, all with our own eyes, we saw the laws that he was absolutely, him and his folks were absolutely breaking. And we knew, watching this on CNN and MSNBC and YouTube and the Facebook posts, we knew that Trump was going to get impeached. But little did we know, as all folks now understand, that Trump is not doing this by himself. He has to have people helping him in order to stay in office. This is why these Republicans feel so emboldened to do the things that they're doing right now. Absolutely, think about this. The guy that has our back is not going to get in trouble for anything. All we have to do is take our problems to him, one or two things. Either if we do have to spend some time in jail, we'll be exonerated and it won't be against us. They won't hold that against us later on. And we won't be broke because we'll have plenty of money. So
Good old
we all
presidential
know
pardon
Trump,
power.
right? We all know that it's possibility, a heavy possibility, that Trump could be in office for another 4 years. And it's something that I'll talk about tomorrow. That a link that someone sent to me to think about this, and not just the food for thought. If Trump was to declare martial law, everybody is made to stay in their home, remain in place. No one can go to work. He forgives all debts. He no one's power gets shut off. That means he's in complete control of the country now. So by assessing martial law, he also negates the election. So that just by the fact that he is now the president, by default, since there won't be an election because everyone will be in place, he automatically has another 4 years.
Yeah, he becomes Senator
without having to put up a
Palpatine.
fight for it. Say it again.
I said, yeah, he becomes Senator Palpatine.
Yeah.
Right.
Star Wars.
But let's take a moment to look at the calcification of wealth that's occurring, even without the the political power. There's a lot of people right now who have a certain amount of money, right? And these people are not the people running to Walmart picking up toilet paper. These are the people who have already seen, okay, these people are picking up toilet paper because they're stupid. Let me spend some money on some of this toilet paper stock. Let me spend some money on this. Let me spend some money on this. And while things are going down into the gutter, people that will probably lose their homes because they won't ever be able to catch up from the after effects of not being able to work for a month, right? Because you're going to have people that 90 days from when the coronavirus quarantine kicks off, they won't be able to catch up on their mortgages. So guess what? Somebody comes in and says, oh, well, this house, they paid $125,000 off on this $250,000 house. Guess what? I'll pay this $125,000 off, and the bank will take the $125,000 because the person will never be able to catch up. These are things we have to watch out for with the people who have money and how they're going to truly clean up after something like this.
Like,
but see, go right ahead.
no, go ahead.
And another thing is, folks are talking about those civilizations, and you think about this throughout history. All great civilizations, eventually, their main downfall was them because they collapsed on itself.
Yes.
People started revolting, less food, different things like that. And if you look at the big picture of what's going on right now, the United States is in that mode of collapsing on itself. We don't believe our politicians. We don't trust the police. We don't trust the powers that be. Sooner or later, people are going to say, hey, you know what? It's time to take things in our own hands. That more and more you look on YouTube and Facebook and all these social media platforms, you see people showing you that they're armed now.
And I will actually take a moment to segue and shout out Cerulean Gray for reading that book, The Rise and Fall of the American Empire, on his YouTube channel.
Yep.
In which it discusses the sequential steps that an empire goes to falling and where America has already begun its descent.
In fact, you look at one of the things about that book, it talks about the debasement of coinage. Right? The debasement of coinage where the Romans would go around confiscating people's gold, their silver, their copper and tin, bronze, any kind of metal. And then they would literally melt all of the coins down, re-stamp them out, mixed with a filler base metal like bronze or what have you, and then reissue them out at the same face value. Now, in today's terms, that system is called credit. That system is called credit. That system is called debt. It's debasement of the coinage. Now, this has already happened a number of times in American history, though. Now, it got so serious, and I want you to think about this. it got so serious to the point to where America was forced off of the gold standard. That was when the debasement of the coinage, there was no going back. There was definitely no going back. Now you're just printing at face value, i.e., like it's completely under, completely debased. There's no going back to any kind of gold standard. Now I'm just printing out credit at this point.
Yeah,
And we've
yeah,
been
Well,
you're
operating that
absolutely
way
right
since
with the
there.
stimulus package,
1971.
with the
Yeah.
stimulus package, what they're talking about is they haven't increased their GDP, but they're going to print out thousands of dollars for each American, which every American obviously needs because they can't work right now, right? But for every $1,000 they print out, that's $1,000 versus the GDP, and the money will pretty soon. We're going to enter a period of hyperinflation, where you remember the stories of World War I Germany after Germany lost. A woman would take the wheelbarrow full of money to buy a loaf of bread, and they would steal the wheelbarrow and leave the money right there. That's what our money is
Yeah.
going to be worth pretty soon if this keeps up.
Yeah. Well, you have to do it because of like you said, the inflation, right? Things are too experienced. Like two things cost too much. You know what I'm saying? Things that cost too much. We're gonna take 1 second. I gotta do some shameless plugs for people. Um, um, Char Willie, our great mod, our super mod. If you need to know how to mod and don't know how to mod, Char Willie is there to help you for all your modding needs. Um, there also need some coins that need to be dropped in her bucket because we don't work for free around here. Uh, um, so, Char, drop the links to your channel and your modding services. Uh, and the esteemed elder here, DJ Music, he has a radio show on his music station. Uh, Char Willie has dropped the links to GSRN Global Sensation Radio. Drop the link there. Please go in there. Take the time to go in there. Do your login and tune in for those times. He also has a YouTube channel that he drops his knowledge. I call him I call it the wisdom on the porch, basically from the elders. And
Sitting on the front porch whittling, talking about time, man.
talking about time. That's what I call it, right? There ain't no talking, you just listen.
Right.
And our Steve brother Sergeant Cursor right here. He's pretty much in charge of the game channel with his partner in crime crew showing off all of his game specs. And I'd like to say salute to the people that are still here in the chat. Lisa S, Vaughn H, the wonderful sisters that came over from the Ebony Star Network and the Earthen Nation. Salute to y'all uh, and everyone that is basically supporting and showing support. Please like and share the screen if you do so kindly. I do want to hit at least 1,000 subs. Um, so YouTube can pay me because I leave my videos up, and I do not like to say hit the link and panhandle on YouTube. I don't have any Cash App or any Patreons or any PayPal links as of yet because I'm waiting for YouTube to pay me first. And everything else that you guys do is just extra support. And I would gracefully appreciate it, but I would like to hit my goal of 1,000 subs. Thank you very kindly. That's how you can support and help this channel grow. There will be no hit the links. I will not say that out of my mouth because I actually have a business that I run. No election over here for me. No Delta Mail Revolution for me. And yes, I'm trolling with my passports and my on my avatar. That's me trolling. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Shots are taken. Shots are being thrown. All right. So now, as we go into this next one, right? Because this finance goes directly into politics, right? With the
Indeed.
mayor of Florida. Well, not the mayor. Well, the I guess the city leader of Florida. Uh, um, uh, of this town in Florida where they didn't shut the beaches down. They cutting off people lights. knowing people can't work, making them use their last bit of coinage to turn their lights
Hmm.
back on. Um, yeah, you know,
Yeah, straight despicable, right?
very
You know,
despicable.
as someone said down in the chat room, you know, the United States knows no greed, man. It doesn't make any difference. Some people are really cold and heartless like that. It doesn't make any difference. You know, like you were saying, spend your last bit of money on paying me. We don't know if you're going back to work or not.
What's very interesting about this story, however, is how this mayor went so far as to keep the beaches open, to keep the tourism money rolling in, right? I'm pretty sure at the request or the behest of several of their donors, right, who wanted to keep that money coming into their golf resorts or beach places, maybe their beach resorts, but would not take the time to furlough these people's power bills. So people are losing power. People are they can't work, but the beach is open, right? The beach is open because we want to keep tourists coming in. We want to keep money coming in, but we won't take care of our own people. And you might look very carefully and see a similar trend in all of American politics right now.
Well, you know the
I take
interesting
care of
thing.
me. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know the interesting thing about that is that's exactly like that's dirt. That's what you call dirty foot politics, right? Like we had to talk about the D class male, the Delta class male, right? And how they
Hmm.
talk about going all over the world, and they're usually to third world countries to exploit impoverished populations of women, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, their countries, they keep those borders open, the tourist, the tourism flowing, which is usually sex tourism being their highest tourism market, highest earning tourism market, and yet they refuse to raise the quality of life for their own people. And so when that governor, or it may have been a lieutenant governor, I think, or maybe even a council member, um,
See,
it was a senator.
yeah,
I do
Uh,
believe it was. Yeah, I do
no,
believe it was. Yes.
when he said what he said about them turning this into a banana republic by keeping the beaches open, I mean that was spot on,
Mm.
because you look at say what we would consider a banana republic, Dominican Republic, right? A banana republic. You won't shut down the beaches, the tourism. You want that flowing in, but you won't lift those people out of poverty with the tremendous amount of money that you get from, say, the tourism market, right? Brazil, same thing. Um, Colombia, same thing. And you go to any basically kind of like filthy foot country, that's what you're gonna find. And so whenever he said that, he was absolutely right. That's
yeah.
banana republic politics.
Yep. Absolutely.
Now the funny thing about that is, look at council, right? I'm just going to put this out here, right? This is me. Hold on, wait a minute. Let me get my banner ready. Get my banner ready. Get my banner ready. Hold on, hold on, hold on. There you go. All right, right. Um, right. Everybody up there was white except for the black guy, and the black guy was the only one taken
That
up.
gave a
And
damn. Yeah.
they gave a damn. But here's the funny part: most of the people that's in that county are white.
Mm.
What
Let
was
me
it?
hit on that first. See, that's the bad thing about us as black people, folks. I always say it, and I'll keep saying this to the very end. We are some of the most forgivingest people on this earth. Of all the atrocities and all the things that's happening to us, we're always the population of folks that start sticking up for other people. Always. Even though we can go back through history and see how white America has oppressed black men, and still is, but still, as black people, we're always on the side of somebody. Oh, you shouldn't do the Chinese people like that. Oh, it's bad that they got these little Mexican folks in these cages. Oh, they treating the Japanese wrong. I'm glad they gave them money. But when it comes to talking about their own people sometime, and again, you can go on YouTube and you could find there's plenty of these folks out here that disparage us right along with white America, right along with them. So
Yeah.
a lot of times we try to be politically correct and don't say, well, white America does this. Man, say it. Let them know. Don't be apologetic to, and don't make them feel comfortable about how they have destroyed lives throughout the history of this country. There's no need to make them comfortable about that. That's why they get complacent. That's why they tell us don't talk about it anymore, because it makes them uncomfortable. So what?
I'm gonna have to make another
But
banner.
As a matter of fact, it was his name is Council Member Omari Hardy, and it was Lake Worth Beach City Mayor Pam Triolo. Now, if you are in the location or vicinity of Lake Worth Beach, I want you to put your wall of shields up around Omari Hardy, because I
mhm,
suspect that what he did will come with some um, pushback.
Retaliation.
Yeah, some kind of retaliatory strike, whether it be violent or non-violent,
right.
terroristic, either way.
Well, she already told him
It
that he's
already
done. She already told him that he's done. She said it multiple times in the video, right?
right.
But
Yeah.
but
We got to
isn't
we
that
got to
funny?
we got to
What you said?
we got to remove this uppity black man. He's starting to cause problems. You're done.
Yeah. Yeah. She kept saying, "You're done. You're
But
done," and she kept walking in the back, right?
Right.
Yeah. And he said something very interesting on that video. I'm not going to show it because my channel ain't good enough for YouTube to give me a benefit of the doubt. Uh, but you what he said was, um, so it's okay for you to have a relationship with that man right there, taking people's, shutting off people's lights, right? Now, now here's the funny part about this, right? Now this is non-politically correct time, right?
Okay.
I worked hard to get to the point where my house is in this nice neighborhood, and I got accepted by all these people that ain't my people, and y'all gonna let it go to hell? I might as well just stay in the hood. I can't save myself. All right, I'm done. Y'all go ahead.
now let me throw something out there though. There is no reason why this Pam Triolo should not ever see another political stage in her life. I'm not saying that we should band together and take her out, although I wouldn't be against that. What I'm saying, however, is we should ensure that she is politically blacklisted because she isn't a politician who's for the people that she's over. She's for herself. And we really need to, as black people, go through and sweep through the nation and see all these politicians who, during this time, are patting their own pockets and say, hey, you know what? You're not getting my vote next time because we're going to find somebody else to replace you who has a better chance of serving our interests instead of their own.
So if you if you
And
haven't if you haven't noticed, right? Just to interject real quick, most of the politicians during this Trump administration, long-time politicians, you notice a lot of them gave up their seats and stepped down and went into retirement early, right?
Oh yeah.
What they're doing during this um what they're doing during this pandemic, they're getting their early retirement. They're rolling out before it hits the fan, right?
Yeah.
If they're gone, so how do you cash out? Well, you do that last big throw, right? You throw it, you hit that 7, and then they ask you, do you want to go for the goal? No, I'm cashing out. And they're cashing out. They're showing you right now they're cashing out. They're cashing all the way out. All the way out.
Uh, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly, my man. It's it's the snatch and grab thing. It is what it is. We see it happening. Especially during election time. They tell Black America how important their vote is, but we still, we don't exercise it because we all believe that it's a waste of time to vote. But they tell us every 4 years or every voting cycle, we need to get a hand on the Black vote. We need to go to places like Charleston, South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina, Meridian, Mississippi, and different places like that, and get a handle on the Black vote. After that, after the politicians have been elected and after the swearing in ceremony, where do you find the Black folks at? Oh man, I knew we shouldn't have put him in office. He ain't done nothing for us. Not going to do anything for us. But what did you expect? Politicians are not there to change the thing. They're just there to maintain the status quo.
I'm going to throw out a quote here. How many people can a potato feed?
Okay. Lisa S. I think this is the second person. Someone has the feed echoing in the background like this. I just put my headphones in so I could just hear it. Yeah, somebody have it. I think somebody has a speaker if they can turn down in the background.
On the headset.
I'm on headset as well.
Yeah, I'm on the headset. So okay, let me see. So let's see here now. So this brings it to the last point of with this lockdown and this curfew, right? Right. And I would like to play something for y'all really quickly. And the final thoughts will be on this lockdown and this curfew and what everyone has on this panel, what they think about it. How should we go about it? But I'm gonna play this little clip for you guys real quick. And then that'll be our final thoughts, and we'll wrap this up. Um, we don't mean with our closing remarks. So just listen to this, and we'll go right ahead. So I'm gonna play this really quickly.
Y'all like it's curses. Bitch, we is from Baltimore. We don't care about no fucking curses. You heard my man Smash on. They all like it's curses. 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 Bitch, we from Baltimore. Bitch, we from Baltimore. Baltimore, bitch, we from Baltimore, bitch, we from Baltimore, bitch, we from Baltimore, we from Baltimore, bitch, we from Baltimore, we don't care about no fucking church, Baltimore, we don't care about no fucking church.
Now, so with that being said, right, is
Oof.
people are, they're not listening to the curfew. They're not listening to the quarantine yourself in the house. So if people don't listen to that, and we got well, I'm military myself, but we have 3 military people on the panel. Nick said that's the derelict anthem. Yes, it is, Nick. That is the derelict anthem.
Right.
Right?
I don't know why I saw a bunch of them jumping up in the back.
We have Chandra here. We have some clear-minded individuals. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So I would like to hear going around. We can start with the brother Chandra, and then we can work our way around, and everybody can get their closing remarks. But about the curfew that's implemented, the self-quarantine, and what will happen if you don't think that they're going to make you do it.
Well, first of all, whenever somebody has force pointed at my head, they're going to use the force. They're setting up the force in California, New York. That they saw military transports in Chicago. Yeah, they're going to make it happen. And the reason why they're going to make it happen is because they have to quell the spread of the virus until they can get enough of these testing kits out. And the only way they can do that is by keeping people. The spread of this virus is so high compared to other viruses that, especially since the 14-day incubation, 14 to 28-day incubation period, which means one person can spread it to potentially 50,000 other people in the space of a month. So what they're going to do is they're going to keep order, and the curfew is one of their many ways of keeping order. I wouldn't suggest that any black person goes out and puts themselves in harm's way by choosing to violate the curfew. Go ahead. What you need to do is make sure you and your family are taken care of, you and your community are taken care of. Make sure you have enough food, water, and all the things that you're going to need to ride out the curfew. But understand, they're not going to hesitate to use force against you. Hell, some of these cops are looking for an excuse to shoot you because you're black. They have an itchy trigger finger. It's like, oh, there goes another black person. Guess they didn't want to follow the curfew. And you know what? In the time of martial law, they would be justified. Not saying they would be justified in killing you, but they would be justified according to the law, and they probably wouldn't even lose their job. That's probably the worst part about it. So keep your wits about you.
I mean, there's really not too much I can add to exactly what my man was just talking about. Again, if you pay attention to your neighborhoods, folks, you see them setting up triage centers all over the place, and a lot of them are being masked as medical places. But as far as the three of us that are on the panel that was in the military, we also understand, we recognize different things from general public, as in, why is this military transport truck, what's it doing in the middle of town, or where are these water tankers going to, or why is this going on? So you should always be diligent in your own neighborhood, and if you start to see strange things and strange people and strange happenings, you should understand that when they apply martial law, it'll be something that'll be swift. And it won't be allowed that you'll come out your door and you'll already see full military presence or full police presence that's letting you know you're not allowed to come out of your house for any reason unless it's an emergency. So we're at that cusp already, believe it or not, as far as uh, where you can go and what what you can buy and the different things like that. We're already at some form of martial law. Now it's just a matter of pointing it out to the people and letting people know exactly just how far the government is willing to go with it. So you're absolutely right. And in our case, again, people say, well, this is not time to bring in be racial about it. But even through diseases, we're still the first ones to get either tested on or shot at. So you're absolutely right. Like the old folks used to say, when the street light comes on, have your black ass in the house.
And I concur. But on a lighter note, I want to be clear about this. As far as Black America goes, there's never been a point in American history where you have not been under martial law. Um,
Hmm.
and secondly, the type of martial law that we've been under is been perpetuated by the state, backed by the government wholly. Now, in the modern age of an actual military imposed martial law, I wouldn't necessarily say it's actually a bad thing because people are stupid. You might have a curfew, but at least you'll get the things that you need, especially if it gets so bad to where rationing is imposed. So that way you don't have some asshat going into your local pharmacy or your local grocer or your local department store and buying up all of the toilet paper. Yep, you might be under military rule, but at least you'll have toilet paper. Uh, you might be under military rule, but at least you'll have, well, medicine on the shelf. Especially, I find it interesting that I don't see toilet paper on the shelves at stores, but I still see hella multivitamins and vitamins of all kinds, which is probably going to be your second strongest line of defense, other than the self quarantine itself.
Hmm.
Because that immune system, if you know that it attacks the immune system, I think that it would probably be more imperative that you get vitamins as opposed to toilet paper. Um, but other than that, yeah, I'd say stick to the quarantine, stick to your safe distance away from people. Um, don't let it make you antisocial. And just be mindful of your surroundings, because I'll keep it honest with you. A lot of the times there'll be, whether it be Army National Guardsmen who have been activated to patrol American streets. I want you to know that they've already been out here. Most of them have been wearing civilian clothes. So because they're not wearing a uniform, you may not recognize them. But if you see people standing around being very observant and vigilant, there's a good chance if they're not police officers, there's a good chance that they're probably Army National Guardsmen.
Hmm.
Mhm. You see, and you look at every major city already has a detachment of National Guardsmen, whether it be a vehicle depot, or what do they call it, the stockade, um, or some kind of armory. So they're already out here. Just be mindful, because you might be, especially some of you with the disrespectful ass mouths of yours, you might be talking to a National Guardsman. You might get your teeth knocked out because you thought you was talking to a regular dude.
Yeah.
You don't even know that you're talking to a dude that was deputized to knock you in the mouth and get away with it.
Yeah.
With a horizontal butt stroke. Bam.
Everyone's in the chat. They're talking about stocks, and let me explain it to you how my father-in-law explained to me. Right. Remember when when the market went down right before Obama took over from Bush, he lost $150,000 in the stock market. And when he told me that, I said, I got some Haitian cousins. Who are these people that stole your money, and where can we need to find them? I'm like, we'll get about 80% of your money back from you for you, right? And he explained it to me like this. He said that's the best time to stay in the stock market, because then you can actually get stocks that are worth a lot more, right? When the market goes down. You buy low, sell high, right? And when you put the money into the stock market, it's no different. He calls it controlled lottery, basically, right? Um, where you put it in there and you make your money, but you don't live off of that money in the stock market. You put it in, you cash out. Then if you're doing day trading, that's a whole different story. He said, but if you put the money there because you got it, that you might lose this, and tomorrow you wake up and your stocks might be worth this. But until you actually cash out, it's not worth the money that the ticket was wrote on. So that's just some food for thought. That's just some food for
If,
thought.
if I could, if I could touch on that just a little bit, DeAndre, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
You know, folks, when you're dealing with stock, you have to again look at the whole of the United States. We are one of the really only one of the major countries of any substantial wealth that our wealth is not backed by any of our natural resources. whereas in Africa it's gold and diamonds. Where here, you could walk into a bank and have 20 cents in your pocket, and you talk to the right person, you could walk out of there as a millionaire. So if you do have stock, I would suggest, if you really don't need to sell them for any stretch of the imagination, I would say hold on to them, and maybe start looking for some other stock that the prices have definitely have dropped down to where you'll be on the. That's another way to get in their game, so to speak, because we as black people, we don't talk about the stock market. That's not one of the books that's on our table when we come to the house. But it is something we all should look into, because that's where they build their wealth at. So why not, when the market's low, time to buy it?
Oh yeah, like our economy, as far as the value of the money, it's not backed by anything but military might. That's all it is. Now you look at
That's it.
a catastrophe like COVID-19. Now the Great Faulkner Initiative doesn't look so bad, does it?
It actually, the Great Faulkner Initiative never looked bad. It's just people didn't see the value in it.
Hmm.
Right. And there's another book that I think I read some years back. It's called "Behold the Pale Horse." If you folks have time, I think it's on. You might even be able to catch it on audio book. But it's written. I can't think of the author's name right
Bill
now. But
Cooper.
he's an. Yes, exactly. So you folks might want to check into that, and it brings it almost kind of tells you a little bit, of what's really happening right now. So. He's not
Exactly.
Nostradamus, but he's giving you a pretty good idea. And for those folks who you think you might be one of those conspiracy theorists, that'd be a good place to start, because he makes sense of a lot of the things in the book.
And that's and a lot of people we need to read up on everything. We need to do a lot of other stuff. Oh, the goat. Taz, can somebody get Taz this link? We like to hear from the GOAT. If the GOAT would like to come over here and say a couple of words from the B1 network. Since what I'm saying, if the GOAT would like to come through before we put a kibosh on stuff. You're welcome, brother. And Taz. Uh, the Steve brother Cerulli, can you get that to the brother Taz?
Indeed, if have
The
his
link,
email address.
huh?
Um,
Uh, uh,
I'll send it right now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Welcome, brother Taz. We like to hear your words on this, on this virus, and what do you think about these curfews that they're implementing, and what's your take on it? Actually, matter of fact, well, let me do something. Hold
Oh,
on.
got it right there.
Oops. Coming through. Yeah, I basically was being petty on Facebook. I like to put up a petty post every now and again. And I said, DJ Music, that due to the coronavirus, sundress season is canceled. Cuffing season has been extended for 12 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you know what I find funny, right? You know what I find
Mm.
funny, right? Is that they got rid of the abortion laws in certain states in the down there in the Bible Belt. They got rid of Planned Parenthood, right? They don't fund the stuff, and then you get this virus happening, and people gonna be indoors. So we're going to see an
What did it?
explosion of birth rates in the next
Okay.
year or so.
All right. And if you don't think so, mark this calendar and see how many 1 year olds we have about this same time next year.
Start calling the 2020 Corona babies.
Right. Instead of being a Grady baby, you're a Corona baby.
Corona baby. Next year it's going to be the tequila virus. Got to chase it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's sad about, you know, it's really how it's affecting the world itself, you know. And unfortunately, you know, people try to blame it on one particular place or one particular episode, but you know, this is not, the coronavirus is not anything that's new. It's how we as humans, how we live, what we're willing to put in our mouths or what we're willing to touch and pick up sometime. This is, folks, believe this or not, and I really wish folks would stop posting things like this on my Facebook page. But today I actually saw a man with a blowtorch roasting a dog alive to eat him.
What?
This is on my it's on my Facebook page.
What?
Roasting. You can hear the dog yelping as he's blow torching him to death to eat him. National Dog Meat Day. I think that's what they call it.
Who did this?
This is I wish I had my Facebook page up, and I'll try and I just don't understand that. And the thing about it is, who filmed it? Because he wasn't filming it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he had a blowtorch, and you could see the dog moving. You could hear the dog yelping, and he tortured that dog.
Yeah. Wow.
To eat him.
Now I saw this interesting article that I was looking at. So this guy, right, when we're on this thing of quarantine, right, and I like to bring some comedy to this also, right, and just fun stuff because people put stuff out there. It's called Board Panda. It's something I saw on Facebook. So I don't know if this is true or not, y'all. So this is just funny, right? Quarantine guy sends his dog on a mission to buy Cheetos, and he delivers, right? So this guy, right, and the article, I think I put it in the chat. I'll put it in the chat one more time, so you guys can see it, right? So this guy wrote a note, and I'll share my screen so y'all can see it. So that y'all don't think I'm just making this up and it came out of nowhere, because we gotta show receipts. It's YouTube. Gotta show receipts, right? If you don't show the receipt, it ain't happen.
It ain't true.
It ain't true. And even if you show the receipt, we still don't believe you.
It still ain't true. Where you get that from?
Where you get that from? That's Photoshop. You know what I'm saying? That's Photoshop.
Right.
You know,
Right.
but we'll believe someone that never leaves their house or their car. But anyway, so moving on. So this is the article with the guy. I guess this is the guy in question. And Antonio Muniz figured that he could just send his Chihuahua to a department store across the street. He wrote it in Spanish, right? He attached a note explaining that he needs what he needs to the doggo's collar along with $20. Right? It's in Spanish. Right? Even though the tiny dog seemed to be a little confused at the beginning, it seems she executed the task. Look at this dog. Right?
Nah, yeah.
Right? There's the dog. Even captured.
You see the dog's eyes?
Yeah.
You see the dog's eyes like, what the fuck are you even doing?
Like, yo, I wasn't built for this, bro. Do I look like a golden retriever, bro? Like you know what I'm saying? Muniz even captured some adorable shots of her going back home with the Cheetos bag that he wanted so much. Despite desperate times call for desperate measures, does it not? Now, why are the minorities like? Look at this, right? And everybody, low bar, dog gets you a beer from the fridge. High bar, dog commutes to get you snacks, returns with change. Right? I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero to the mortal. See, look at this right here, right? Got the dog right here, right? Absolutely made my day. I have a lot of questions, right? I can't stop laughing. Well, this man hasn't violated curfew, has he?
No, he hadn't.
He hasn't violated curfew one bit. Hold on. Taz is here. Who's it?
Ready?
All right. We bring it up. Is this Taz? What's going on, brother?
What's good, man?
What's good? What's good? Introducing the GOAT from the B1 Network, Taz exclusive. You have the floor.
Man, my shit doing all that static and shit, man. I can't hardly hear. I hate when the StreamYard shit do this shit. Can y'all hear me?
Oh yeah.
Y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can. We can hear
Yeah,
you.
we can hear you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up with y'all, man? I ain't no shit.
How you doing? How you doing, brother
Greetings,
Taz?
Team Taz.
Nice to meet you.
Shit, man, trying to figure out where we, where we headed next on this coronavirus ride.
Like we was talking about this curfew, because people out there partying on beaches, staging protests, acting a fool, just so I get your thoughts on it, get.
Shit, I was actually thinking, man, that, I be wanting to have like the multi-faceted conversation with this shit because for me it lands on both sides. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of fucked up because this is that martial law type. You don't just want to listen to everything the government says scenario, but it's also that you probably want to listen to what the government got to say scenario. And so, just just from basic layman's terms, you would think the best thing to do would be stay inside, stay out the way. But then it's like, as you watch, it's like, but damn, it looks like they taking all our civil liberties away too, and it's the same fucking token. So it's like this shit is landed on both sides. Like, how do you fight back against something that's going to, on one end, be beneficial to you, but on another hand, it could also be the seizure of your rights. You know what I'm saying? It's fucked up.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, for black folk, it's always been a damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Right.
But in this case, we kept talking about this, trying to make sense of it. Furloughing of basically most of America's employees. It's like throwing a rock in the east and having their enemy troop movement in the west. Like, don't watch what I'm doing over here. Just stick to your quarantine. But if you don't listen to quarantine, you got a high risk of being infected.
Right. But
Yeah.
but again, folks, a lot of again, I'm one of those. I won't say I'm a conspiracy theorist, but a lot of people say that this pandemic was released on the world for for purpose. So it is what it is. And no one's going to be immune to it. Even you have some folks that saying that the virus itself, the symptoms, it's not what's going to kill you. It's the vaccine that they inject you with that's going to wipe out so many people.
Exactly. And I think with the brother Taz was talking about is there needs to be a discussion on both sides of this with this curfew about how do we go about doing it. And what I would think is the reason why I showed that funny clip and I dropped that in there. Nick said, "Who's eating crackers?" I think somebody was trying to fix their mic. But what I basically think is with that with this article, how was he able to put that on his dog, write it in Spanish, and send it across the street because he lives in a community where everybody's respecting each other and they're helping each other, right? Right. And that's what we need to do. We need to go back to old school. Like, in the civil rights times where they were boycotting the buses and they had black people driving people to work, carpooling.
That's it.
You
Right.
know what I'm saying? We need to get into our communities, check on our neighbors now, check on our folks now. And they're going to implement, like, y'all, listen, there ain't enough guns that we got. And even if you got the guns, a lot of you ain't trained on them to use them, right? Best gun for you to ever get for security is a shotgun. Because you ain't got to aim, you just fire. Make sure the barrel was
Hmm.
pointed at whatever. As
Actually,
long as you got that buckshot.
there's a gun better than that you can get at a dollar store. It's called a water gun.
Huh?
Oh, yeah, with some bleach. Yeah,
Yeah, but some kind
bleach
of
and ammonia.
corrosive in it.
Yep, bleach and ammonia and water.
Very,
You know,
very true.
yep, very true.
Probably the most effective gun that you can get on a child's budget.
Yep, and all black people got bleach and ammonia in their house.
That's right.
You know
They,
what I'm
they
saying?
can't shoot you if they can't shoot you if they can't see you.
Exactly. And a aluminum bat.
Yeah, watch,
Don't
you're gonna
get
see
a
the next. You're gonna see the next major headline today in America. All of the super soakers have been sold out.
Been removed off the shelves.
off the
People are
shelf.
going to haywire. All right. People are going to haywire with these super soakers. They're assaulting police with salt and vinegar.
You know what I'm saying? All the hot sauce and Tabasco sauce was brought off the shelves.
All right.
You know what I mean? Like some of y'all crunchy socks dudes, y'all just throw your socks at them. Y'all don't leave the house. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? Y'all, you know what I mean? So, but what I like, what this was is that was a community coming together. That was a community extremely coming together. Um, just off of say that little dog walked across the street or something like that. Now, had that been anybody else, a white person would have probably called and said the dog needs to be rescued. That was like animal abuse. The animal doesn't have any rights. Maybe the animal didn't want to go shopping for the owner. Something crazy like that. But that doesn't happen in those Spanish communities, right? And he probably did it as a test to see if the dog was smart enough to bring his butt home, right? But I digress on that. Um, we will finish these closing remarks off with shameless plugs and promotion. We'll start with the brother Cerulean so he can drop those plugs for the networks and the content that he does, and the elder music will follow up, and then I'll do my shameless plugs, and we'll let you go because we've been over time, and I like to keep these at least 90 minutes to 2 hours. So, brother Cerulean.
Well, I'd like to say gratitude for the invite. Salute to the nation. Tomorrow we will be live on Cerulean Gray Channel. After that, we will be live on GrayRegime.tv, where we will be reviewing the life and time of Obsidian Mumi Ali. Well, really, it's called The Last American Virgin. And also like, share, comment, subscribe to our Gray Regime Gaming. That crew, Chandra Kursa, who is like the wizard of weird and unusual builds. We're going to keep pressing forward. And like, share, comment, subscribe to our esteemed DeAndre, and be great.
And as far as me, folks, you can check me out tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. I'll be on my radio station at GSRN Radio along with Char Willie. We do a little show called On the Beat where we'll be talking about probably some more of this corona virus, giving our radio fans a little update of some things that we found out and we like to share. Normally we do a little advice, but in this particular week we decided to kind of concentrate on the coronavirus itself and the effects around the United States. And also on Sundays, if you like that old school music with that relaxing kind of flavor to it, make sure you check me out at 8 p.m. there for the Quiet Storm. So check it out there, folks. Like, share, and subscribe to the broadcast, and make sure y'all like to share the broadcast here as well. Big ups to you there, DeAndre, for having me on the panel there, my brother.
Anytime. You guys are always welcome. You have a permanent place on this panel. Anytime you show up, you will be here. And the other half of the great regime, Chandra, you know what I'm saying? We kind of jointed the brain, me and Chandra here.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on the panel, and everybody in the chat right now, if you learned something, go ahead and drop a share for my brother DeAndre.
Appreciate it.
Because that's how we grow.
Appreciate it. I like to also thank the brother, the GOAT for coming through. Taz exclusives. Check out the B1 Network. If you are PC, if you are sensitive on your ears, if you don't like the truth, then you still need to go because you need to get over yourself. So go check that out. Go check that out. Please check out everyone on this panel. Like, share, subscribe if you can. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs so we can make the machine help support these platforms. I am not panhandling on YouTube for any donations. I don't believe in donations. I call them investments if you want to do that, but I will not make a cash app or any type of financial anything until I get to 1,000 subs where I can be monetized, because I do not want to put the onus solely on the viewing public. I do this because I like you guys. I like to be creative, and this is a way that I can put my 2 cents in and help support the like-minded brothers here and the elders and all of my peers. So thank you for coming through. Thank you for being here. I don't know if y'all like my take on the music that I like to play. Thank you very much for standing and sticking by me for this time. We're almost 3 hours, but I'll work on that to condition the show that it's faster and it'll get more to the point. Thank you guys, and y'all have a lovely evening.
Thank you. Everybody have a